Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blayde again from Car Audio Security. Now today we're looking at a new product from Hertz, the S8 DSP. So the S8 DSP, what is this? So DSP stands for Digital Signal Processor. Now what that does is basically takes an audio signal in and then sends an audio signal out. But in between that, it cleans that audio signal up and allows you to tune that also. This one is a little bit different, however. This is basically a micro version of a normal processor. So this allows you to be able to basically put it anywhere in any vehicle. This is also compatible for bikes, boats, ATVs, all those kind of things. So it's very, very versatile and allows you to get great audio in any vehicle. So let's open up the box. We'll show you the contents as usual. And then what we'll do is we'll get it fitted into a vehicle and I can show you how it all works. So let's get it open. Okay, so we have the contents of the box out on the table here. So let's quickly go through it. First of all, your manual and startup guide. This is going to show you basically how to fit it, how to tune it. Basically, everything you need is in here, so make sure you read through this. Next, you have this little part here. This is a USB dongle that carries music files as test tracks. You'll be using this when it comes to the setup procedure for the processor. These are your basic mounting screws and fixings. So 4 screws, and then you also get a spare fuse. This is a USB extension cable. So this, as I said, is available to be tuned through your phone or through a laptop. So if you're doing through a laptop, this is what you would connect. Now, all these wires here are your input and output wires. So it does look a little bit daunting, but don't worry, everything is labeled. So for instance, this one here is labeled in 1 to 6. So that's all your speaker inputs. This is also labeled in 1 to 6. So basically this is your high level input and this is your low level input. So speaker input, RCA input. Now when it comes to your outputs, you have RCA outputs. So that is labeled 1 to 8 on outputs. And lastly, this is your power connection. So this is obviously going to need power to be able to work. So you have your permanent live, your ignition, your remote, your earth, all of that is labeled on here. And then lastly, you have the processor itself. So as you can see with the processor, it is tiny. Now, your average processor is probably going to be triple the size. So I would probably say that kind of size. So it is absolutely tiny, which makes this very, very versatile and allows you to fit it into almost anything. This is capable of streaming up to 24 bits of audio resolution. So the processor itself, the board inside here is coated to prevent any corrosion. So if you do put this into an outdoor vehicle where there's no cover, say a boat for instance, you can still fit this and not have to worry about it corroding. So that's very, very handy. Now, as you can see as well, you have all the connections on one side of the processor. That allows for more ease of installation. So you've not got, say, an input and an output on one side. So you can literally fit this anywhere. Now, what's the benefits of going for a processor? So the processor's main job is to clean up and tune an audio signal. So if you don't have that ability to start with, let's say for instance, you've done an audio system in a vehicle that you can't change the head unit in, or you don't want to, that's when I would recommend a processor. If you can change the head unit to a good aftermarket stereo, the majority of the processing you can do through the processor, you can do through the stereo. But obviously if it's a factory stereo, you can't do that. So that's where this comes in handy. Now, last few things to mention before we fit this into the vehicle. This has a 7-band EQ available to be tuned through the app, whether it be the phone app or on the PC. That is compatible with PC, Mac, iPhone and Android as well. And also this is start-stop compatible. So this will run from anywhere from 6 volts up to, I believe, 14.4 volts. So if you do have a vehicle with start-stop, this is not going to shut down your audio system every time you turn the car on and off on startup. So that's really, really handy to have. So lastly to mention is the price. Now this is $579.99. Now that may seem like a lot of money for a little part like this, But trust me when I say this makes a big difference if you haven't got the ability to tune your system and you don't want to be fitting a big expensive processor into the vehicle. So ease of installation, very, very good. Ease of tuning, excellent as well. The fact that you can tune it from your phone is fantastic. So let's go get this fitted into a vehicle and I'll show you the tuning process, what you can do through the phone, and then we'll take it from there. Right guys, so we are in our Hertz demo car. Now this car has had quite an upgrade, I'll be honest. So we've done a complete overhaul of the front audio system. So we've done multiple sets of Hertz Blayde Pro speakers, as well as 6 10-inch subwoofers in the boot, yeah, 6. And obviously that's all amplified. So the reason why we have put a processor into this vehicle is because the factory head unit in this car cannot be changed. For a setup like this, it's always best to fit a processor so you have full control of the system and you're not just amplifying the pre-tuned system for the BMW, if you know what I mean. So what we're going to do is go through the app on the phone. So we'll go, there it is, S8 DSP. And then that will let us in. So we want to choose what we want to do. So we're going to set it up and configure it. So we want configurator. So we'll select that and then we're going to connect to Bluetooth. Okay, so we are in the home screen. You're going to want to go to settings and IO configuration wizard. So what this does is it goes through and configures everything for you on how you want your vehicle set up and how it is set up. So you're going to choose car, obviously if it's not in a car, right hand drive, and then next. And then you're going to choose what is set up in this vehicle. So in this, we haven't amplified any rear speakers. We haven't got a center stage, but we have a full range front setup and subs. So we'll hit then next. We'll go then 3 ways up front. And that is correct. So next. Output 1, 2, 3, 4, that is correct. And we got analog inputs, which is also correct. So obviously this setup is going to be very dependent on what setup you have in your vehicle and how you've configured it in the first place. This is the routing, so it's basically the inputs and outputs. If you've set it up correctly, that should be correct. And then it's going to ask you to go through the test track, so that's what that USB is for. So go onto the USB on your head unit and it's saying play track 1 and set every tone to 0 and put the volume up to an undistorted amount. That to me is usually about 3/4 on most head units. So we're just going to skip through that because we've already done that stage. Okay, so once you've got to that stage of the setup is then complete, you are then, free roaming to do your tuning. So obviously the whole point on this is to tune the system. So the main part that you're going to be wanting to use is your crossover. So along the top here you have your different options. So because this is a phone app based system, it's a little bit more simple and easier to use than, let's say, their full size computer based system. But yeah, if you go into crossover and phase, you can then select what crossover setup you want depending on what speaker you're setting it for. So we've set a high pass filter at 80 Hertz with a 24 decibel per octave slope, which, if you know tuning, that's a crossover. So you then select what speaker you want to do that for. So you go here, front left, you want then subwoofer, low pass filter on this side, high pass filter on that side. And then at the bottom here, you also have a distance select. So that is for time alignment. So you would then measure how far away the speaker is from the listening position and input that there. So you have time alignment settings. Now, output levels, you can change the output gain on certain speakers if you'd like that. And then the other thing is your EQ. So this here is your 13-band EQ, which is set for, again, each channel on the system, so you can individually EQ each speaker if you need to. So you have plus 12 dB or minus 12 dB selectable per channel, so you can change that there as well. So you really do have a lot that you can mess around with. We've tuned it by ear on this system because it needed a little bit more of a boost in especially the higher frequencies, just to give it that brightness. So as you can see on the higher end, so up in the 5 kilohertz and up, we've boosted that, but in between 200 and 1 kilowatt hertz, we've dropped it down a little bit. So it's dependent on the system, this is not a base setup. Now, if you do want to adjust it, you have your frequency that you can change through from here. So you have from 25 hertz all the way up to 16 kilohertz, so 16,000 hertz. You would then select the band that you want to change, and then you can turn it up or down through here, and that is shown on the EQ up here. So you can mess around with that as you need to. You also have memory inputs, so you have memories from A, B, C, and D. So if you have a certain tune for certain music, you can set that as memory A, and then you can change it for B, C, and D. So that is really, really helpful. Now, going back to memory, you can copy the memory over to a different thing, so you don't have to completely redo the tuning setup. So you can copy the memory from A to C, for instance, and then just adjust it from there as well. Right guys, so that is it for the Hertz S8 DSP video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I definitely enjoy that product. It's a very, very good, very versatile product. Most processors are like this big usually, so having one that's that big makes it a lot more usable. It's not just for a car, you could use it in a boat or a truck or in a bike if you wanted to, and you can hide it away wherever you want. It just makes life a lot easier. You don't have to plug it into a laptop, it's all controlled through your phone, so if you do need to quickly do some tuning, you can do it in a car park if you really need to. So if you're interested in this product, it's going to be in the description below. Click it, it'll take you to our website, carrodysecurity.com. And yes, I do have a moustache. I've taken all my beard off. It's from Movember. Link for that's going to be in the description below if you want to donate some money. It's going to cancer research, so it's all for a good cause. So yes, we are in our Hertz demo car as well. So this is our 1 series. We've gone to town with this build. It's all Hertz products, Hertz subs, Hertz amps, everything. So if you're interested in this build, video should be coming out on our CastTV YouTube channel very, very soon, where I'll go through the whole build and kind of give you guys a demo as well. So interested in that, keep an eye on CastTV. But that's it from me. Thank you very much. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.